All right, let's talk about what just happened, because I am genuinely fired up right now. Sunday afternoon, the Blue Jays go into that game against the Yankees, and they come out on the losing end, 4-3. And look, I know, we still took the series from New York, and against a division rival like that, I'll take it. But man, every single loss right now feels like a gut punch. This late in August, with the standings the way they are, there is no such thing as a meaningless loss anymore. Every game is basically a playoff game at this point, and dropping this one stings way more than it should. So before I get into my rant, drop a like on this video right now if you're riding with the Blue Jays through the stretch, because we need the support more than ever. And seriously, comment down below and tell me if you're still confident about this team, or if you're starting to sweat like I am. I want to hear it. Here's where we're at. The Jays are sitting at 61-65 on the season. 61-65. Let that sink in for a second. That's a losing record. And right now, as of this moment, this team is in last place in the AL East. Last place. The team that was supposed to be building something special. Sitting at the bottom of arguably the toughest division in baseball. And to make matters worse, they're a full game back in the race for that third wild card spot. One game. That's how thin the margin is right now. One more slip up, one more bad week. And we could be watching the season slip away in real time. And that's what makes what Dylan Cease did on Sunday so frustrating. Because the guy was brilliant, and the offense just could not back him up. Cease goes out there and gives up only 2 earned runs. 2 on just 2 hits and 3 walks across 6 in a third innings. That's an ace-level performance. That's a guy doing exactly what you paid him to do. And the team still finds a way to lose. If that doesn't make you want to throw something across the room, I don't know what will. But let's give credit where it's due, because what Cease is doing this season is nothing short of historic. With that outing, he blew past 200 strikeouts for the season. And get this is now 6 years in a row he's hit that 200 strikeout mark. 6 straight seasons. Do you understand how rare that is? He's now tied with some of the biggest names to ever step on a mound. We're talking Clayton Kershaw, Felix Hernandez, Randy Johnson, Bert Blyleven, Mickey Lolich, Sam McDowell, and Sandy Koufax. That is the company Dylan Cease is keeping right now. Only 3 pitchers in the entire history of the sport have longer streaks than that. Tom Seaver did it 9 years in a row. Max Scherzer did it 8 years in a row. And there's a 3-way tie at 7 years between Chris Sale, Roger Clemens, and Walter Johnson. That's it. That's the entire list of guys ahead of him. If you didn't already know how special this Dylan Cease season has been, now you do. And honestly, it's a little bit criminal that we're not talking about this guy more. Comment below and let me know. Is Cease your Blue Jays MVP this year? Because for my money, it's not close. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this signing is looking better and better every single time he takes the mound. Toronto locked this guy up for 7 years and $210 million before the season even started. And at 30 years old, he has been an absolute workhorse and a bona fide ace. He started the All-Star game for the American League. He is going to be in the conversation for the Cy Young Award. 201 strikeouts, and he did that in only 137 and 2/3 innings, because he actually missed time earlier this year with a thigh injury that landed him on the injured list for a bit. Just imagine where his numbers would be if he had a full, healthy season. His whip sits at 1.06 right now. For context, his career average is 1.24. That is a massive improvement, and it tells you he's not just missing bats. He's controlling the game. Yeah, he still has the occasional bout of wildness. We've all seen it. But when it comes to limiting hard contact, this guy has been lights out. Over his last 7 starts, his ERA sits at 1.71. 1.71. That is video game numbers. That's the kind of stretch that wins you a Cy Young Award. And it's happening right now in a Blue Jays uniform. And I don't think enough people outside of Toronto are talking about it. So if this team is going to have any shot at clawing back into this wild card race, it starts with Cease. It has to, but the reality is pitching alone isn't going to save this season. The offense needs to show up, the bullpen needs to hold leads, and honestly, this team needs to stop finding new and creative ways to lose ball games that they have no business losing. Now here's what's coming up. The team gets Monday off, which honestly might be exactly what they need to regroup after a weekend like that. Then it's off to Tampa Bay to open a series against the Rays. And let's be real, the Rays are currently leading the American League, so this is not some cupcake matchup. This is a legitimate measuring stick series. Jose Soriano is expected to get the start for Toronto in that opener, and the Rays haven't named their starter yet as of this posting. Soriano's been solid this year, sitting at 9 wins and 6 losses with a 3.16 ERA between his time with the Angels and now with Toronto. And remember, this is the guy Toronto got at the trade deadline in the deal that sent top prospect Arjuna Mulal to Los Angeles. That trade is going to be scrutinized for a long time depending on how these next few weeks go. So every single Soriano start from here on out matters that much more. And here's the stretch that really worries me. The Blue Jays have 6 straight road games coming up against the Rays, and then the Yankees. 6 games, all away from home, against 2 teams that are directly in the thick of this playoff race. This is the kind of stretch that can define a season. Win 4 or 5 of these, and suddenly the mood around this team completely changes. Lose 4 or 5, and we might be looking at a lost year. After that, though, the schedule does open up in a much friendlier way. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel, if this team can just survive this road trip. So that's where things stand. Last place in the division, 1 game out of a wild card spot, and A's putting together a historic season that's basically going to waste if the rest of the roster doesn't wake up, and a brutal 6-game road trip staring us right in the face. I want to know what you think. Are you still buying what this Blue Jays team is selling? Or is it time to start managing expectations? Smash that like button if you want more honest breakdowns like this one, and get into that comment section, because I read every single one of them and I want to know exactly how frustrated or how hopeful you are right now. Let's talk about it.